witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, and also representing my ladies only channel, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Hope everybody's doing good. Again, I appreciate y'all for all the love, all the support. Please go ahead and hit that like button. You already know I am going to deliver an awesome sermon like I always do. So more than likely, I believe I am going to upload this content to both of my channels. Depending on if I have time or whatever the case may be. So if you see this on Mocha's Cafe de Paris, don't be surprised. That's my co-ed channel for men and women. And of course it's going to be on Mocha's Ladies Lounge, but sometimes I have to upload my content on both channels because very rarely do people want to transition to another channel once they have initially subscribed to just a specific channel. So nevertheless, I don't want anyone on both sides of both channels to miss out on any of the sermons and the content that I give out. So sometimes you're going to see the same content on both channels. It all kind of depends. So I may more than likely put this one from Marcy Projects to Millions on both channels. So we'll just wait and see how it pans out, right? But y'all, it is so much that needs to be covered, y'all. From Marcy Projects to Millions, Jay-Z left the streets but never his past. So y'all, I've been wanting to speak on this for quite some time, and I've already spoken on this a couple of months back. I'm going to see if I can find that video in my archives and share it to both of my posts on both channels in case I need to refresh our memory, because I've already talked about this before. But because Jay-Z didn't have all the publicity that he has been having recently, nobody really took heed to the video. So nevertheless, I'm probably going to refresh that, revamp it, and put it back out there. But nevertheless, I definitely wanted to speak on this because it's a lot surrounding Jay-Z and Beyonce. Looks like their luck has not been panning out too good lately. Just all kind of mishaps, you know, from the Beyonce Cowboy Carter theatrics, in which she was performing in a car, hanging from the ceiling where the car damn near, tiptoed over with her in it. It's just been a lot of craziness, and of course, with her tour, just all kind of craziness. Then they had a incident in which somebody broke into one of the vehicles and took all her new release materials, her tour dates and all this and that. So it's just been a lot of craziness going on her end. And of course there's the wonderful Mr. Carter himself, whom we know as Jay-Z, who's been having a lot of dark clouds around him lately because of everything that's transpired with Diddy. And we've known him and Diddy to always be really, really close, but ever since Diddy got caught up, with all this controversy, Sean stepped all the way back from Diddy like Diddy had a disease. And we all know Sean Carter and Sean Puffy Combs, they've always been more than just business partners. They've been like brothers. There was not too many times you would see one and not see the other. Wherever there was Diddy, there was Jay-Z. Wherever there was Jay-Z, there was Diddy. They were inseparable. And of course, when the heat got turned up a little bit, well, a lot, Jay-Z ran for cover because that's the kind of dude he is, right? Jay-Z is the kind of man that's going to look out for Jay-Z. He's going to look out for his well-being, and I get it, you know, I understand, and especially being in the industry, there's this crab in the barrel mentality in which everybody's going to look out for themselves. So I'm quite sure had the tables been turned and Jay-Z had the controversy, Diddy probably would have done the same thing, shied away from him. That comes with the territory. Once you get exposed in the light, you know, you try to, you know, run away from that light when it starts getting too bright on you. You get what I'm saying? So Jay-Z basically has already proven to us how he will play his cards, okay? And this is the thing, right? I want to talk about this because you have so many people capping for Jay-Z. You got so many people defending Jay-Z just like they did Diddy. Not understanding Jay-Z was not always this billionaire wearing expensive Armani suits. You know what I mean? He was not always married to a billionaire babe Beyonce. He has not always been this guy that we see today. Okay? Jay-Z definitely lived the hard knock life. You got to realize Jay-Z is from Brooklyn. He was born and raised in Marcy Projects, okay? So before y'all start running to the defense of Jay-Z, keep in mind Jay-Z, known as Sean Carter, had a past before he became Jay-Z. So don't let the Armani, the expensive suits and gator shoes fool you, okay? Don't let the fact that he's married to Beyonce and has children, is now this family man. Jay-Z was not always that dude. So, you know, it's so many people blinded by the likes of a celebrity that they really forget how low down and corrupt these individuals are. That they were not always these successful entrepreneurs, music moguls that we've seen today. In other words, they all have a past, all right? Before they got to this point in life, there was a lot of things that they had done. There's a lot of dirty deeds, things from their past that they righteously so try to put behind them. But this is the thing about the past. No matter how much we try not to deal with it, the past has a way of dealing with us. And that is what's going on with your boy Jay-Z. Even more so with this paternity suit coming out with his alleged son Rainier. And let me say this, any and everything I say in this content is based off of my own opinion. None of this is actual factual. I do not know Jay-Z or Beyonce from a can of paint. This content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This is my disclaimer. But what I will say is this, I've been fans of both of these individuals for many, many years. I've been a fan of Jay-Z ever since the You Can't Knock the Hustler. You know, I've been a fan of Beyonce since she was in Destiny's Child. But as I became older and the more and more things about them started being revealed to me, I pretty much lost my my love for them as far as being a former fan of both of these individuals, because I just, you know, I don't see them move in ways that's not pleasant to me. You know what I mean? So when I was young and dumb and you know, blinded by the celebrity strobe light, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of things I overlooked. But as you become older, you gain wisdom, you gain knowledge, and then you start putting the pieces together like, wait a minute. These individuals are nothing like they make themselves to be. And if you are woke, if you're not somebody blinded by stardom, a lot of things you're going to notice and see that a lot of people are not going to give you credit for. A lot of people are not going to acknowledge, because everybody's not woke. Some people like to be sleep on things, especially when it comes to the celebrities that they praise and give worship Sunday service to. So let's talk about it. Everybody loves the billionaire Jay-Z. He's the mogul, the husband, the icon. But what if I told you the past he built his empire on the street hustle, the manipulation, the targeting of younger women, that has not left Jay-Z's spirit. It's just been rebranded. Okay? This isn't about counseling. This is about calling out how money doesn't erase the mindset. And Jay-Z's past might be knocking again. So let's just kind of take a trip down memory lane, right? So I would like to show y'all some older pictures of Jay-Z before he became the Jay-Z we knew. Okay? Alright, so this young Jay-Z is Jay-Z from Marcy Projects, Jay-Z the drug dealer, Jay-Z the street hustler. Okay? So keep in mind, Jay-Z was a drug dealer back in the day. All what they used to call dope boys, block boys, corner boys, okay? Before he became this big time entrepreneur, multi-millionaire who y'all praise and worship, Jay-Z was just a typical hood ninja that basically, sold drugs. That's what he did for a living. That's how he survived at Marcy Projects, okay? So, looking into the blueprint of Jay-Z as the dope boy back in the day, before he became this music mogul that y'all so dearly respect, love, treasure, and give praise and worship service to, Jay-Z didn't just hustle drugs. He hustled power, influence, and access. So, being that Jay-Z has this past of being a dope boy, keep in mind his mentality of that dope boy era. It still has not completely erased itself, okay? The mentality of the dope boy era for Jay-Z was about luring the vulnerable, often younger women with image, status, and money. And let's face it, back in the day, that's what dope boys, that's what corner boys, that is what they did. It was about image, wearing the jewelry, the gold chains, the newest tennis shoes, the newest kicks, that MCM, gear, you know what I mean? It was basically about being flashy. Back then, that was the dope boy era. Looking like money, dressing like money, all right? And with that, money gave Jay-Z new tools. But the predatory dynamic stayed the same. Now, I'm going to get off calling him Jay-Z for a minute, because a lot of y'all fanatics, when y'all hear that word Jay-Z, for some strange reason, all of your common sense goes out the door. So I'm going to call him Sean Carter, okay? Because before Sean Carter became Jay-Z, the millionaire married to Beyonce, Sean Carter was your typical street hustler, dope boy, drug dealer, corner boy. Okay, this was him, because I know a lot of y'all done forgot. Alright, this is the real Sean Carter. Okay, the dope boy, the corner dude. Okay, alright, Sean Carter. So money gave him new tools, but the predatory dynamic stayed the same. Let's be real. Jay-Z was correction. Sean Carter wasn't no teen heartthrob, okay? Let's just be for real. He did not have that look, okay? He wasn't no Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, Special Ed. He just was not on on our playing field when it came to looks, okay? Females wasn't really checking for Sean like that, other than the females that probably lived in the area in which he lived in. You get what I'm saying? He was an unattractive dope boy with money, influence, and a reckless ego. That kind of power in the wrong hands, it rarely leads to respect. It leads to reckless behavior, especially with women. So you have to keep in mind, back in the day, right? Dating adult boy, especially we're talking about Brooklyn, New York, that was the thing in the late 80s and the early 90s. Women back then, especially women in poverty, meaning project chicks, women who lived in low income housing, low income areas, getting adult boy who most likely resided in those same areas of poverty as well, that was the thing. If you don't believe it, go watch the movie Paid in Full. It will show you how Rich Porter and oh my God, he was what? The other one, he was Alpo. Yeah, Alpo. He was unalived, I think, like last year after spending several years in prison. But anyway, if you watch like those old school movies like that, it'll give you a perception of why women back then, why young girls, why young women were drawn, young women in poverty, meaning project chicks, young girls who was raised in low income subsidizing housing. Dope boys were the thing back then. Everybody wanted a dope boy. Okay, I know some of y'all can't relate to this, you know what I mean, because the females today, they want an actual rapper, you know what I mean. They're trying to come up off of guys who they feel automatically got instant success. But back in the late 80s, the early 90s, dope boys was the it factor. Meeting the dope boy that stayed well dressed in the neighborhood, gold chains, you know, MCM outfits, Kango hats. It was the thing to be with a dope boy, okay, who wore big gold chains, flashy gold teeth. That was the thing. All the girls, all the females that resided in public housing would opt for the dope boys. The drug dealers, they drove the nice cars, you know, the two-seaters, the convertibles, you know. That was the thing back then, okay? All right? So you got to keep in mind, Sean Carter was not the Sean Carter we know today. He was basically a scrub, you know. He hustled, made money in the streets. That's what he did for a living, okay? When you're not used to being wanted for your looks or character, but suddenly you get cash and clout, you don't move with self-control. You start to move with entitlement. And I believe Sean Carter moved recklessly with his penis, with his choices, and with his access to young, impressionable women. So I believe once Sean Carter started making money as a dope boy, he did what most dope boys do. Like when his old songs was money, cash, hoes, money, cash, hoes. Once you get the money, the cash, the clothes, now you start building your ego off of hoes. At least that's how they perceived females to be, was hoes. Sean Carter, when he started making money, make no mistake about it, he was smashing every Kim, Keisha, and Kiki. That's what dope boys have always been known to do back in the day. Is to smash multiple women, because that came with the lifestyle of being able to buy women, because now you have the money. So now that has given you the confidence, it has boosted your ego. And not only that, you have that advantage because you are in an area, or you reside in an area in which most of the women that live within that neighborhood, they are already struggling and destitute. They're already being born and raised in poverty conditions. So anytime you meet a dope boy that's making some money, even though it was illegal money, back then that was the come up level for young girls and young women who were in poverty stricken conditions, meaning young girls who lived in housing, who lived in the projects, aiming and landing a dope boy. That was the next best thing to being able to come up. Okay, the guys who wore the gold chains, who drove the nice cars, you know what I mean? You got to realize when you come from poverty, you could easily, a man who knows you from poverty and is meeting you during a poverty phase in your life, he can easily impress you with just a chili hot dog, especially if you're not used to that, right? So Sean Carter as a dope boy back then had a big advantage with women because he was intentionally going after women who was born and raised in poverty stricken conditions, right? So the money ended up coming later, but the mindset has always been there, right? So Sean Carter wasn't moving like a man who had options. He was moving like a man who never had them until power made him believe he deserved everything. And now some of these same men, you know, who had that mindset of older, richer, and suited up, but still moving with the same mindset. You could put money on it, put a label on it, but some habits don't change. So Sean Carter was a wild boy, whether you want to believe that or not. And keep in mind, he was raised by a single mother, and let's face it, and this is not to criticize all single moms, but in many instances, single mothers never really had much control over their sons. Okay, so mama probably knew he was around there smashing all type of young girls, but nevertheless, she could not really force Sean Carter to really listen to much that she had to say, because just like any other rebellious young man, he figures he knows it all, and especially once he starts making a little money, he basically feels like no one can pretty much tell him what to do, right? So Jay-Z, Sean comes from a lifestyle of poverty. So keep in mind, he was smashing a lot of young girls back then. A lot of people who were born and raised, who grew up with Sean, can tell you Sean was not this selective, particular, careful type of guy, you know what I mean? You know, he was a wild boy back then. He was slanging peen, and he was indulging in the streets, living that street life, you know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, he does not have a squeaky clean past. He just does not. And you have people around here that's going to defend Jay-Z to the pits of their soul and acting as if this man didn't have no past. All right, he sold drugs, he been incarcerated, he's had all kind of illegal street activities, and I get it, that's the man's past. Why are we talking about the past? Why are we bringing up all this old stuff? Well, it has a lot to do with the fact that the point that I'm going to be going in is that even though he may be this millionaire, but it's still that Marcy Project mindset that has not completely left Sean Carter. And as we start to unfold more and more into this content, you'll put the pieces together and it'll start to make sense, right? So he got money now, but the game ain't changed from the block to the bank. Okay, you got rich, but you still playing the same game. Okay, so a zebra never changes its stripes. Okay, completely, it just doesn't. All right, you don't need a corner anymore when you have a corporate table. The control just got quieter. All right, so let's go into Jay-Z with these young women. Okay, let's kind of go into that. All right, So, Jay-Z, whom we know today, whom is Sean Carter, has a past with dealing with young women. He just does. Okay? Alright? So, Jay-Z has been involved with Aaliyah. He has been involved with Foxy Brown and many other young women. And you know, we try to dodge the bullet on this because, again, everybody's looking at Jay-Z the millionaire. They're not looking at Sean Carter from Marcy Projects, okay? Sean has always had a certain type of fascination with younger women, okay? All right? So, he was definitely into Aaliyah. He definitely loved him some Aaliyah. He's always been into pretty, young, talented women. And young women, period. Even if they didn't have much talent, okay? That's just always been part of his nature. Even though people try to dodge the bullet and nobody wants to talk about it, Sean loves him some young girls, okay? He just has a thing for younger women. He just does. He has a fascination with them, okay? So let's just keep it 100, all right? Sean Carter had predatory potentials, okay? Beyonce was very young when they started talking. He was grown. She was just becoming legal, okay? So even though people try to sit up here, and I've heard many sources, they keep upping Beyonce's age. They went from saying they met when she was 17, then I've heard 18, then I've heard 15, then I heard 13. I believe she was definitely under 16. Or around 16 when he was dealing with her. Now keep in mind, Beyonce always looked older than what she was. And the industry has a way of doing that. The industry has a way of making you grow up before your time. Making you look older than what you are. But Beyonce was a girl, while Sean Carter was a full-grown man. You can even tell in this photo, he looks so much older than her. Okay, you wouldn't be able to tell that now because they've been married and together for so long, so you wouldn't be able to peep that. But anybody who's been fans of theirs for a long time can tell you, everybody knew Jay-Z and Sean and Beyonce was smashing. Okay? Alright? He been tapping on that. And he had the advantage of getting into Beyonce's mind when she was fresh in the industry, and also when she was transitioning into womanhood, you know, because she went into the industry as a girl, and like I said, in the industry you will grow up very quick over time as you get more involved in your career. So Sean Carter, the dope boy, has always played it smooth, okay, because it's that street hustler mentality, okay, of if I want to conquer this, I got to be smooth. I got to like marinate it, get it warm. I'm not just going to go in for the kill right away. You have to realize Sean Carter is a Sagittarius. Sagittarius men are very smooth. They're very suave, and they're also very strategic. Okay, he's not going to come on too strong. Mr. Carter will take his time getting what he wants, even if it takes 3-4 years, because he is just that confident that he's going to win. He will conquer. Okay, so he don't mind playing the game. And I will say this, that's not only with women, he does that with partnership, with those who go into business with him. Sean knows how to play the role, and he's very discreet. He's very mellow. He's very chilled. He's very laid back. And he has this cool, calm, collective demeanor that will make you feel comfortable. The whole time, dude is snaking you. The whole time. Because when Jay-Z bites, he's a smooth operator with his bites, okay? He just don't go in for the kill and just sink his teeth in right away. He don't sink his venom in right away, Okay, he takes his time and then stings you where you least expect it and where you least can feel it. He's definitely smooth, okay? He's a smooth operator, all right? Make no mistake about it. He will take his time to get what he wants until he gets to that promised land, okay? He'll play the game. He'll hold it out. You know, he knows that in order for him to win the main prize in the end, he has to be smooth with it. And he doesn't have a problem with doing that. You know, he's very silent and aggressive. Sean is a silent, aggressive type of street dude. You'll never know his aggression because he's so silent and cool and calm with it. And you know what they say about them quiet ones, right? So, as I stated, Sean has always had pookie potentials as far as pedophilia potentials, seeking young women, okay, going after little girls, okay. Now, little girls, not so much like 10 or 11 years old, but put it this way, he went after young women that were not legally of age, okay. So I don't want nobody to think I'm saying this man is a registered sex offender or something like that, or he's trying, you know, little girls under 10 years old. That's not what I'm promoting at all. But basically what I'm saying is that Jay-Z loves young girls. See, here it's saying he's 16. It's saying, no, Beyonce's 16 and he's 28. I believe that. She looks young as hell in that picture. Okay, but people want to keep moving the goalposts. She was 16, 18. No, she was 7. No, this is the narrative they tried to push. He was helping her with her music career at 17, but they didn't start dating until she got 18. You know, all kind of stuff to try to keep it cool, calm, and collective. Beyonce was a girl, and you could see all in her face. Sean was way too old for her. Okay, period. People have always whispered, why her? Why that age? And why so much silence? Dope boys target girls with soft hearts and big dreams. Billionaires just do it with NDAs. Sean Carter, known as Jay-Z, didn't change the game. He only became better at hiding it. Okay? Alright? So, the silence is loud. Why doesn't he speak up on certain things? Why do his business moves always seem 10 steps ahead of exposure? What about Diddy, R. Kelly, and others falling? And why Jay-Z always stays out of the fire? Sometimes the most powerful men are the quietest because they got the most to lose. So this is the reason why Jay-Z, and I guess I can go ahead and call him Jay-Z now, has always been a power player. Okay, Jay-Z is the type, when he sees smoke coming, he dashes, he ghosts. Jay-Z will jump ship anytime there's anything that can possibly become a threat to his image, a threat to his brand, and most importantly, a threat to his marriage. And we're going to talk about all of that as time goes on, right? Can you really escape the man you built your empire as? In other words, did Jay-Z really get rid of the Sean Carter dope boy ways? Reflect on this for a moment, y'all. If your past built your empire and you never healed it, are you really free from it? Is Jay-Z avoiding accountability by using status to distance himself from who he was? He left the block, but the block might still be living in him, okay? And now what's starting to happen is more and more lately of Jay-Z's darkest clouds are starting to come to light. Nicki Minaj is calling them out. God bless his soul, DMX Ben called them out. Dame Dash called them out, but it kept falling on deaf ears because everybody again all this celebrity idolizing and celebrity worship and praise service, you cannot convince a lot of these brainwashed fanatics out here that Jay-Z does not come from a corrupt past, which means he's still a corrupt individual. Okay, so let's call it what it is. All right, talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z as the power couple. Beyonce and Jay-Z are indeed both powerful, calculated, and highly protective, not just of their family, but of the brand that family represents. Beyonce has become just as corrupt as her husband. And let's face it, when you marry, two comes together as of one. And that's why it's imperative that you realize if you are equally yoked with your significant other. If you're not, sooner than later, their corrupt ways will become your corrupt ways. There's no way you can be married to a corrupt individual and their corrupt ways don't rub off on you. Okay, you don't start to follow suit to those ways. When Beyonce was younger, she allowed Jay-Z to pretty much lead everything. And even to this day, to a certain degree. And that is the reason why Jay-Z has always opted for young women. He's never wanted women on his level. If you think about it, he's never dated women his age, not that I know of, and I'm going to say alleged. He's never dealt with women older than him. I think Blue Cantrell was probably up with him or whatever. But for the most part, Jay-Z loves young women. Why? Because for one, he just loves young women. And two, he knows he can easily influence them. And one of his rap songs, I remember something about his lyrics, try not to get her much older, that way you can mold her. Somewhere in that alignment. In other words, he been pushing that narrative of don't get a female that's too knowledgeable. Don't get a woman that's too mature because it's harder to program. And you have to realize if Jay-Z had been dealing with young women the majority of his life, even as a dope boy back in his younger days, that mindset has never left. And that is why even after he left the Marcy Projects, that dope boy mentality of always dealing with younger females has never left, because even when he went into the industry, he did the same exact thing. He started targeting young women. Okay, and even more so that advantage, because let's face it, young women in the industry, they are always looking to be courted by the men that are very successful, the men that are very popular, the men that are very well known, men who have the best, men who have the best status within the hip hop game, or whatever the case may be. So Jay-Z had an even bigger advantage once he became molded into the industry as a rap artist, a producer, and all of these other accolades that he earned within the industry. So a lot of women, young, old, black, white, was checking for Jay-Z, not because he's attractive, not because he was pleasing to the eye, but simply because he was Jay-Z. Women was drawn to Jay-Z, the rapper, not Sean Carter, the buck-toothed dope boy from back in the early 80s, 90s or whatever, who was raised in the projects. Okay, so once he got in the industry, he had a lot of advantage in manipulating younger females like Foxy Brown, Rihanna, Aaliyah, and I don't care what nobody says to this day. I still felt like him and Rihanna had something going on. I feel like him and Foxy had something going on. I feel like him and Aaliyah had something going on. I feel like Jay-Z has always had some type of unnatural, unhealthy fascination, a sexual attraction for young women. Young women just turn him on. They just do, and they've always have. And it never left his nature, even as a dope boy back in the day. Okay? And don't be surprised if now, even though he's been married to Beyonce for many years, don't be surprised if he don't have a young tenderoni somewhere that he's not smashing. Because men like Jay-Z, as the women they've been married to continues to get older, they still have that same mindset of wanting something younger. So don't be surprised if Becky with the long hair wasn't somebody younger, okay? Because Jay-Z, that's just his guilty pleasure. He loves young women, okay? But he was able to court Beyonce because, for one, Beyonce was more in love with Jay-Z than she was Sean Carter. A young woman at the age of 15, 16, you get approached by Jay-Z, who is one of the hottest rappers, killing the game at that time. You're seeing all the women he's worked with, like Aaliyah, like Foxy Brown, and then Jay-Z, the rapper, approaches you. It can definitely take you to a whole nother tailspin as a young woman that you never even imagined you could put yourself in. Most young women would be drawn to men that have that type of power, that have that type of status, and Jay-Z knew that. So what Jay-Z did, he kept hanging around Beyonce, inviting her everywhere he went. They go on places together, doing things together. He kept bonding with Beyonce, kept spending time with Beyonce, bringing Beyonce on tour, courting her, taking her places. Now keep in mind, Beyonce was not this big icon that we've known as she is today. Back then, she was just a young woman trying to get her feet wet, a young girl trying to get her feet wet in the industry, still learning the ropes. And to have a guy on Jay-Z's level court you and make you believe that he's into you and feeling you when you yourself are trying to get in the industry and become the next big hottest thing, what better way to do that than to get up with Jay-Z? And that's what she did, okay? And like I said, Jay-Z was very strategic. He knew he had to be smooth with it. He knew what Jay-Z did was he taught Beyonce the ropes. He became like that second father figure. Only difference was he became the father figure to her as far as industry, okay? He was showing her the ropes. He was training her, grooming her, and programming her what to say, what not to say, how to conduct yourself, how not to conduct yourself, which is for a while nobody really knew if Jay-Z and Beyonce was together, because you best believe he already coached Beyonce. And if you look at a lot of their old interviews, when Jay-Z and Beyonce would be together and they would ask them questions like, are y'all dating, are y'all together, notice Beyonce would let Jay-Z do most of the talking. I'm not going to show all of y'all that because that's just going to make the content longer, and I got to clip back and forth through all type of stuff, and I just don't feel like going through that. So let me just come out of there, right? So anyhow, if you notice, Jay-Z took Beyonce up under his wing, showed her the ropes, okay? The whole time he was already smashing her. He had already taken Beyonce to bed. And y'all already know, these older dudes, they know what to do in the bed. He probably done ate the Kit Kat, tossed the salad, you name it, he did all of that. Did everything that Beyonce had never experienced as a young woman, as a young girl transitioning into a young woman. He knew that. But Jay was smooth with it. And because Beyonce had an infatuation of being with Jay-Z the rapper, she pretty much respected and trusted and followed all the commands and everything that Jay-Z taught her to do, okay? Because she just as badly wanted to be with him as he wanted to be with her. Not only that, she wanted that notoriety of being known as the chick on Jay-Z's arms, okay? So let's continue talking more about the power couple's darker side, okay? So people love to romanticize Beyonce and Jay-Z as a power couple, and yeah, they are, but let's be clear, they will do anything to protect their empire. And when you've built your image on being untouchable, flawless, and superior, the protection gets nasty. Okay, so as we know, there's a lot of controversy surrounding them, even more so Jay-Z because of Ramir Shuttlesworth. That's coming strong. He's not letting up. He's already been court ordered. Jay-Z has been court ordered to take the paternity test, and they said that if he does not take the paternity test, they're going to presume him as the father. So you could only imagine how this is making him feel and how it's making Beyonce feel. And Jay-Z, because of his power, because of his status, he has gotten away with wronging this young man, not giving this young man, who I'm going to show momentarily, not having to acknowledge, not having to follow the court orders. He's been running through judges. Judges have been tossing it out, not making Jay-Z step up and own up. And this particular federal judge is not playing the radio anymore. He or she has stated, no, you have to take this test. So now what Jay-Z is doing, he's trying to buy time. He's trying to drag it out, because let me tell you something. This is definitely putting a dampen on his marriage. Make no mistake about it. Beyonce has been married to Jay-Z for a very long time. So she's not that little girl anymore whom he can just handle the way that he used to handle. Now she has a voice. Now she has her own legacy. Now she is an icon within her own right. Don't think for a second that she's not giving Jay-Z hell. Okay? Because she is. Alright? So, at this point, a lot is at stake. And we're going to kind of talk about that as we go in. Okay? But let me get back to some of these points here. Please make sure y'all hit the like button if y'all have not hit the like button already. So let's go into this. Jay-Z has silenced accusations and lawsuits for years. Beyonce controls her public image like a business product, not a person. Together, they've built a brand around perfection, loyalty, and royalty. But when that image is threatened, they move like handlers, not spouses. So let me tell y'all something, right? The more and more Jay-Z keeps getting called out for all of these alleged rumors, paternity lawsuits, it's definitely causing a sting. It is causing a dent to his marriage. Beyonce is obsessed with image. She's obsessed with perfectionism. Beyonce does not like to look, I'm tongue-tied, does not like to look like she does not have it together. If you want to make Beyonce mad, expose her imperfections. One thing Beyonce cannot stand is imperfections. She has fired staff over simple mistakes because they messed up her mic, because they didn't have her lighting right. Beyonce is one of them, allegedly, from what I heard, hit the like button. She is very, very nasty, and she expects perfectionism at all times, especially if it has anything to do with her or her career. Beyonce worships her image, she worships her career, and most importantly, she worships her family and her legacy. She did not come this far as an icon and elevate this far in the game for Jay-Z to make her look stupid. Now let me tell you something. Jay-Z been having a lot of dirt piled up in the closet, but the only reason Beyonce has been able to tolerate him this long is because, like most millionaire men, he's been paying away his mistakes. He's been buying them off. Now Beyonce is like this. Jay-Z can have 20, 30 kids out there, but as long as none of them come out and take away from the perfect image that she expects Jay-Z to uphold, Beyonce is fine. She's fine as long as no heat is coming her way that's going to tarnish her image and her brand. Jay-Z knows his wife. He knows how obsessed Beyonce is with perfectionism, with the perfect image. He knows this about his wife. So what he calls himself doing is trying to protect Beyonce's feelings by paying away his dirt, paying off people who want to expose him, paying outside children to keep and the mothers of the children to stay quiet. Anything to please Beyonce, because you got to remember, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they both have something in common. They don't like to lose. For one, they both are greedy. Okay, they both are greedy. All right. Two, both of them love image. Okay, those two things are everything to them. And three, they want to always be on top at all times. Okay, so with all this controversy coming out, don't think that there's not trouble brewing on the home front. And this is the reason why Beyonce is constantly on tours, because she does not want to be around this ninja with all of this foolishness that's going on. With Beyonce, the kind of person, if she stays still too long, she'll start reflecting on everything that's wrong. She'll get emotional, she'll get upset, and she'll crash out. So to maintain and avoid crashing out, what Beyonce does, Beyonce clings on to her fans by constantly doing tours, by constantly putting on music. The way an alcoholic relies on alcohol to subdue them, the way a meth head depends on meth, Beyonce depends on her fans. She depends on her image and her music. Her music, her fans, that is what makes her feels like she has some relevance. It ain't even so much her kids, it ain't even so much Jay-Z. Beyonce depends on her fans, depends on her image. She wants love more from her fans than she does her own husband and her own children. And let me tell you something. Jay-Z knows this. Jay-Z knows the obsession that Beyonce has when it comes to her career, when it comes to her music, when it comes to her fans. So he has done everything in his power to keep shit under the rocks. He's been paying baby mamas, and I'm going to say alleged. This is just my crazy ass imagination, okay? He's been paying baby mamas. He's been paying people, he's been making people sign NDAs. He's been doing all of this to make Beyonce happy. Because again, Jay-Z does not like to lose. He loves to win at everything. So do Beyonce. That's one reason, that's one power force that's keeping them together. The reason why they, with all the obstacles they have had, and they've never gotten to the point to divorce each other, is because neither one of these two like to lose anything. They want to win at everything. So what's making them stay together in that marriage, more so than love, more so than vows, is ego. Neither one of them like to look like they can't keep nothing. Neither one of them want to look like they're losing at something. So it's ego that's that an image that's keeping them together more than it is love. But let me tell you something. We're going to find out if it's really love, because if too much more stuff start coming out on Jay-Z and Beyonce not going to be able to handle it. She's putting on this brave face now. She's standing through it because nothing has really been solidified yet. But if she finds out tomorrow that Rainier is Jay-Z's son, that is going to change the whole dynamics of that marriage. Trust and believe, Beyonce loves her image with Jay-Z more so than she actually loves Jay-Z. And I'm going to be honest, I think the tables have turned. I think originally in the beginning, she was the one who was more in love with Jay-Z because, of course, she was younger. He manipulated. He had her mind and her body and soul all at one time. I think the tables turned over the years, and I believe Jay-Z is probably more in love with Beyonce than she is with him. This doesn't mean she doesn't love him. She loves him, but she loves Jay-Z more so for what he can do to keep her legacy thriving. That's just my opinion. Hit the like button, okay? All right, so you can respect their legacy and still recognize that there's a calculated cold streak underneath the glitz, y'all. They're not just artists, they're gatekeepers of their own myth. And when people poke at it, whether it's a rumored child, an exposed affair, or a lawsuit, they don't flinch. They eliminate the threat. And let me tell you something. Both of them are so cold. They don't think they won't unalive somebody to make sure nothing threatens their legacy. It's a lot of dark secrets that only him, that only Jay-Z, Beyonce, and God knows. And let me tell you something. Jay-Z has had to prove his love to Beyonce by getting rid of some people and some things. And believe it or not, that is their personal sick darkness of maintaining their love. They will both get rid of something, and that is their sacred ritual between each other. That's the ritual that they have learned to lean on with each other to prove their solitude, to prove their loyalty. In other words, what I'm saying is, let's say if there's a certain individual who's trying to expose them, both of them are cold enough to come together, put their money together, pay somebody to off that person, and see between the both of them. That is what keeps them joined together, knowing that they will eliminate anyone or anything that becomes a threat to their legacy. That is their personal demonic ritual between each other. So don't be surprised if there's not some undercover hidden bodies that only him and her know about. But a lot of you stands in the beehive, they're not going to believe this because, oh, Beyonce is so innocent. She's so beautiful. She would never resort to that. But you got to realize she married a man from the streets. And especially when it comes to your legacy, there's no limits as to how far a person will go to keep that legacy from being tarnished. But there's more to follow. Let's continue, because I don't want to go too deep, but I'm going to get deep, okay? Please make sure you hit the like button if you are just coming in, all right? So, they don't just protect their family. And we're talking about the Carters here. We're talking about Beyonce. We're talking about Jay-Z. We're talking about the Carters here, right? They protect the illusion that their family is above consequence. One thing that Beyonce and Jay-Z have in common, they refuse to go down. They will come together and take something down before they both go down. Now, one thing about Beyonce, she could be in one of her spells with Jay in which she's pissed with him, she hates him, she's mad at him. You know, all married women, we go through them phases where we just can't stand our man, you get what I'm saying? But best believe, the moment anybody comes up against Jay-Z, she's in it to win it, just like Jay-Z. Don't think she not right there helping him plot and put together a plan. She putting her money in it, she putting her mind in it. She is going to help Jay-Z defeat whatever may become a threat to their legacy, because at the end of the day, she's looking at Jay-Z is more her legacy than her husband. Not only that, Jay-Z is the father of her children. So at the end of the day, she's going to protect Jay-Z because Jay-Z is part of her legacy and he is also the father of her children. Jay-Z and Beyonce built a billion-dollar brand, not just a marriage. So when problems hit, like that long-avoided paternity suit, or the constant touring and solo moves, it ain't just about love anymore. It's about legacy, money, and public image. Don't think Beyonce will participate with Jay-Z on a level of lowness that no beehive fanatic would even imagine. She will take it there. Beyonce is just as aggressive as Jay-Z. Don't let the blonde hair and a pretty face and all the pop songs fool you. She is just as demonic and nasty and low down the street and hood as Jay-Z. Play with it. I said, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't mistake Beyonce as a softie. They don't call her B for nothing, because she will sting the hell out your ass and she ain't gonna feel zero shits about it. She does not have a conscience. She will attack anything that comes up against her legacy. If you come up against Jay-Z, you coming up against the legacy. And she is down with helping Jay-Z eliminate anything that's going to be a threat to their legacy. She's not playing with it. She's not that little girl anymore. She's a grown woman who has a lot to protect. Now, let's go a little further. The case with 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 has been lurking for years. Now, let's go back to Ramir. Hit the like button, y'all, if I haven't already. I really appreciate it. Baby, when I say it's real in the battlefield, listen, even they lips the same. Now, a lot of people try to say, well, he don't look like Jay-Z to me. Y'all got to realize the boy gonna have some features like his mother. Okay, so he may not have Jay-Z exactly on the head, but he has a lot of similarities. Now, I will say respectfully, those twins that him and Beyonce had, I'm going to say this respectfully, that was a creation that involved some involvement from man. There was some type of a medical DNA interference that happened. In other words, I don't think they were created naturally. I believe somehow, some way, they kind of forced that pregnancy with those twins. I think there was some type of medical interference to make sure they become an exact replica of Jay. But this is the problem. I think they overdid it. I ain't no doctor, I ain't no nurse, but I think whatever medical procedure they use, they overdid it to where the DNA was way too powerful, to where the children ended up having a slight medical malfunction. I think they overdid the genetics, which is why it ultimately resulted in the children being on the spectrum. Now, I would say this: children on the spectrum are very smart. So it has nothing to do with their looks. They can still be just as smart, get honor roll, and all of that. But let's not play with it. These pregnancies that Beyonce went about was forced. You know, even more so if she knows that Jay-Z had other children on the outside. To me, it just never came off as authentic. To me, I really still don't. This is my opinion, and I'm going to say allege. I really don't feel like Blue Ivy is hers biologically. I don't see no real connection between her and Blue Ivy. I've never questioned that about no celebrity woman with their child. Beyonce has always been the one that it never sat well with me. Now, if you a beehive and you want to get mad and come in the comment section and cuss or whatever the case may be, do you? I don't care. But I just don't think those children got here authentically. I just do not. And I think the twins, that was forced, and I think they overdid that medical procedure, which is the reason why the children are somewhat on the spectrum. Beautiful kids, you know, and that's just my opinion. I just think sometimes when man creates things on their own and they don't allow God to naturally bless them, you increase your chances of some type of malfunction or defect when you use all kind of medicines, take all kind of shots and stuff like that to create pregnancies. I just think sometimes things can go wrong in the process of that and can cause some defects, you know. But that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Don't come for me if you that deep of a fan. Just, exit the congregation, because I get it. A lot of y'all brainwashed and y'all really idolize these celebrities like they're not capable of paying somebody to help them make up babies that they were not able to have naturally. Y'all act like they ain't capable of doing that, and y'all know they got the money, y'all know they got the connections, y'all know they can get surrogate mothers, y'all know all of that, y'all know they can get photo shoots for their stomach to look bigger than what it is. Y'all know all of that, but y'all so damn brainwashed nobody can tell y'all beehive and all of that, whatever. Anyhow, let me get back to the point, right? Okay. They don't just protect their family, they protect the illusion that the family is above consequence. Jay-Z and Beyonce will never go down until something majorly puts them in a position of where they cannot hide from it. And I think slowly but surely that is what's happening. Jay-Z and Beyonce built $1 billion brand, not just a marriage. So when problems hit like that long avoided paternity suits or the constant touring of solo moves, it ain't just about love anymore. It's about legacy, money, and public image. Now get into the paternity situation. That case with 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 has been lurking for years, and yes, it has, because I've been keeping up with it for quite some time. And instead of confronting it head on, he's fought like hell to keep it sealed. That doesn't scream peace out home, y'all, especially when your wife's career is all about honesty and empowerment. That tension gotta spill somewhere. So don't think every time these rumors recirculate and knock out their front door. Let me tell you something. Beyonce hallucinates. Nobody knows that but her mother and Jay-Z. Beyonce has a nervous breakdown any and every time it's brought to her attention. Jay-Z knows it. And that's why Jay-Z is trying so hard to be on her good graces. He's been going on tours with her. Notice he's been very interactive with the children. He's trying his damnedest to make sure that he's keeping her strong and all of these accusations that keep resurfacing about him. Some people say she's in her Renaissance era. But constant motion can also be a distraction from stillness. And stillness is where truth creeps in. Sometimes women overwork when the home front ain't nourishing no more. And let's be real, her lyrics been given, I'm holding it together but barely. It's not just about money. That's one big reason Beyonce is constantly on these tours. She cannot rest. She's not at peace with her marriage, y'all. Beyonce is the kind of person, when her back is up against the wall, she's not going to sit around and just cry and meditate. She'll constantly keep moving. That's why she's always on tour. She has to find comfort through her fame, because that's just how much she worships and treasures the spotlight. That's it. Alcoholics go to alcohol. Drug users go to drugs. Beyonce goes to her fans, because she feels like that's the only thing that genuinely loves her. So she leans on that. Every time there's problems at home with JC, she leans on her fans. Listen, a lot of these celebrities who y'all be giving too much credit to, the reason why a lot of them are the way they are today is because they are more obsessed with their fans than their fans are obsessed with them. I know y'all don't want to believe it. If everybody stopped buying Beyonce tickets today, stop supporting her music today, let me tell you something, that woman will crash out. She'll have been an overdose on something or whatever. What has happened is Beyonce has learned to overdose and find comfort through her music, through her fans, because she's not happy with all the controversy that's going on around Jay-Z. She don't want to be home around him. She wants to be on tour, on stage, with her fans cheering on, with her fans stroking her ego, with her fans reminding her she is still that bitch. She'd rather deal with that than to be around Jay-Z. She doesn't want to be in that 8-10 bedroom mansion. listening to YouTube videos with this young man that keeps coming out saying, Jay-Z, my dad is dodging this paternity test. Not only that, the kids that she knows about. Ain't no way in hell you married to a man and you don't know he has outside kids. Trust and believe she knows it. But what it is, Jay-Z keeps assuring her, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to make sure nothing comes out that disgraces the family. I'm going to make sure nothing comes out that tarnishes your image. Let's face it, men, especially millionaire men, they think they can fix everything with money. And that's what he's been doing to keep Beyonce leveled. But it's kind of starting to look like the money is not even keeping things up under wraps, because this young man is still pushing the issue, right? And I know it's pissing off Jay-Z. He's swatting him like a mosquito, like, God damn it, just God damn it, go away, God damn it. And this young man is just as relentless as him, which makes me believe he may very well be his son. Because just like Jay-Z got that street hustler, I'm not backing down, Ramir is coming with the same energy, like, I'm not backing down. You're not just going to shoosh me away like I'm a goddamn mosquito, okay? So she's overworking just so she does not have to focus on all the negativity that's going around. Greed, power, and image are a major glue. A divorce between them wouldn't just be a heartbreak. It would shake the industry, shatter business ties, and possibly affect tour sales, endorsements, and fans' trust. There's a lot at stake. If any more controversy comes out with Jay-Z, I do not know how your girl B is going to survive this, okay? So the bottom line, they might be fighting for the empire more than they're fighting for each other. And that's what I strongly believe. I believe Jay-Z and Beyonce are fighting more so for their legacy and their image and their reputation more than they are fighting, you know what I'm saying, for the actual marriage. You feel me? Now, let's go a little further into this, okay? We all know Beyonce and Jay-Z as the ultimate power couple, but behind that billion-dollar brand, there's some heavy smoke hidden behind closed doors. Here's some highlights, right? Jay-Z's legal team pushed back again July 2025, calling it decades-long harassment and asking the judge to dismiss. The way Jay-Z is moving so hard trying to avoid this paternity suit with this young man, it's a reason for that. Jay-Z knows what's at stake. And let me tell you, other than just his reputation and his image, his marriage is number one. Beyonce is very, very emotional like any other woman. And Beyonce does not take lightly to anything that's going to make her look stupid. To anything that's going to make her look foolish. This is why Jay-Z has been pushing for this young man to just go away, get away. I'm already having problems over here with my wife, trying to keep the other baby mamas away, trying to keep my alleged daughter, who was proven to be my daughter. I had to pay her some millions, pay her off to keep her quiet. Now I got to go through this all over again. Jay-Z has always bought his way out of shit, just like Diddy. This young man is calling his bluff. He's not going down. And the bad part is, as much as Jay-Z would like to get rid of him, because at the end of the day, keeping his marriage and his image is more important than this young man getting the answer he wants, Jay-Z's not doing it because he knows the block is too hot right now. He cannot pay nobody to come after this young man to harm him. He cannot send no goons. He's not in a position to do that because it's going to point directly to him. It'll look way too obvious. See how God works? So you can't even touch this young man, even though when he first initially filed his paternity suits, allegedly somebody shot up at his car, somebody left a gun on his seat, anything to try to get this young man to go down. That's no coincidence, but we'll leave that there, and all of that is alleged. Jay-Z's legal team pushed back again in July, okay, calling it decades-long harassment. What it means, avoiding truth isn't about winning. It's about fear, control, and preserving the public image. That's a red flag. Because, baby, he knows Beyonce is not having it. That girl loves her image. She loves being picture perfect Patty. She's not about to allow it to go down. Now, don't keep in mind, Jay-Z is very bigoted. Jay-Z doesn't back down from anybody. But Beyonce has a tug of his heartstrings. So he's not going to challenge or buck her the way he would do anybody else. Not only that, he knows his wife. I mean, granted, Jay-Z is a husband, but he's also a businessman. He knows what can happen to her rep, to her sales, to her to her reputation, her image. If anything funky starts circulating like sharks around him and her too frequently, he knows how ugly it can get. And Jay-Z is trying to do damage control. He wants to keep anything negative, anything that's a threat, anything that's going to tarnish them, he wants it to go away. Because y'all don't deal with Beyonce like he does. Beyonce is crying on his show that night. Beyonce is going off on him. Jay-Z is keeping it cool, but he's fighting a battle. He's fighting an unspoken battle like none of you could ever imagine. And it wrecks his nerves every time something comes out about him, because he knows it just makes Beyonce resent him even more. And makes Beyonce panic even more. Even though she puts on this brave united face with them cameras, behind closed doors it's a totally different story. Beyonce cannot handle a whole lot. She cannot. Especially scrutiny. Negative scrutiny, no, she can't deal with it. So, he's avoiding this paternity test because he knows the problems that it can cause. Now, also, he was facing an anonymous grape allegation from alleged 2000 VMA party incident. Despite powerful support, she's been touring and working hard. Is that growth or distance? Looks more like distance to me. She's going on tour and doing all of this music as a distraction, trying to overshadow with her success and her touring and all of that, to overshadow all this negative publicity that's going on around Jay-Z. The other segment is the emotional energy behind success. Years back, Lemonade showed Jay-Z and B navigating infidelity and forgiveness. That Met Gala elevator fight in 2014 had deeper roots. It wasn't just about drama, but pain and resentment. That is why Solange attacked him the way she did, because Solange has witnessed her sister get disrespected multiple times, and that's why Solange came for Jay-Z like she did. And if you saw the elevator incident, you'll see that Beyonce did not stop her sister from attacking Jay-Z, because even in her heart, she knew that Jay-Z deserved what Solange. She even felt that Jay-Z deserved what Solange was throwing on him, because her sister has witnessed all of the disrespect, all of the pain, and she got tired of it. Solange is about that life. I know my sister not going to do nothing, but I'm going to handle you. Because, again, Beyonce is a big softie. She cares about everything. She cares if her hair string is stand up on her head. She cares if her shoe has a little stain on them. She's a perfectionist. She does not like to look stupid. She does not like to look like she don't have it together. Okay? And even after the elevator fight, Beyonce got in the limo with her sister. Now, if her sister was so wrong for her husband, why she didn't leave her sister alone and went with Jay-Z? Because even Beyonce knew in her heart, her sister was right on coming after Jay-Z, attacking Jay-Z, even though I don't agree with a woman putting her hands on a man no more than I agree with a man putting his hands on a woman. I don't stand for violence, but put it this way. As much as Beyonce loves Jay-Z, for her not to defend Jay-Z in that elevator, that speaks, from her sister, that speaks volumes. Okay? They repeatedly chose to stay. But empire isn't marriage. Are they healing or holding on out of necessity? I feel like it's definitely out of necessity. So why are they together? Why? Why are they still together, right? Splitting will cost billions. That empire is their bond, not their love. I told you Beyonce and Jay-Z are alike. They both are greedy. They both are egotistical. They both don't like to look like losers. So that empire is keeping them together more than their love for each other. It's about the image and it's about the legacy. They will maintain a false sense of togetherness to preserve their legacy before they shut it down and actually follow through with a divorce. But I would say this, if the heat turn up too much higher, Beyonce, it's a high chance that she can very much divorce him. If Ramir ends up being his, and Beyonce has to accept the fact that their son that they had together is not really his first son, even if he has other sons out there, just the fact that this one ends up being right and is proven, she's not going to be able to stand by him. Beyonce does not like humiliation at all. She can't handle it. So back to the point. Protection over peace. They maintain a united front to protect their brand, not necessarily their friendship. These two love image. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Love it. Make it look right no matter how wrong it is. They stand by this. So let's mention some other things, right? And, you know, I'm really not trying to be messy. I'm just being real. I mean, you know, the world is praising Jay-Z, the billionaire, the mogul, the reformer, but before the boardrooms, there was the blocks. Y'all act like Jay-Z did not have a past. He's done a lot of corrupt things. Everybody loves Jay-Z, the billionaire, the businessman, the icon, the legacy. But before all of that, let's not forget who he was. A dope boy from the Marcy Projects. And in those days, a lot of men like him didn't just hustle. They preyed, they took advantage of young, vulnerable girls. They had power, money, and street status. And back then, that was all it took to impress a girl from the hood. Jay-Z is still hood and no good, okay? Please hit the like button for everybody who's just coming in. No protection, no accountability, just pleasure, ego, and secrets. Now that he's a household name, Jay-Z wants to act like that part of him never existed. But you can't just outgrow your dirt. Especially when there are living, breathing people like Ramir still holding on to the pain it caused. So Jay-Z isn't just dodging a DNA test. He's dodging a whole era of his life where choices were made. People were used. And power was abused. This isn't about his money. This is about his legacy. Let's stop and let's listen. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the pattern that nobody wants to talk about. Since y'all love to give these y'all favorite celebrities praise and worship service. The pattern nobody wants to talk about. Let's stop sugarcoating this. Jay-Z has a pattern. And it's been in plain sight for decades. Long before Beyonce, he was known to surround himself with much younger women. He was connected to Foxy Brown when she was still a teenager. Aaliyah. Beyonce was barely legal when they began. Now people want to act like that's normal in the industry. But if you take away the fame, the money, and the music, that's predatory pookie behavior. Jay-Z was a pedophile pookie. Not on a severe level of touching like 5-year-olds, but he still had inappropriate relations and relationships with younger women. The truth is, back then, he probably never imagined being a billionaire with a global empire. So he did what a lot of street dudes did. He used status to access young girls. But now he knows better. He sees the risk. He sees the lawsuits, the headlines, and the documentaries being made about other powerful men. And worst of all, he sees that Beyonce is watching everything. Best believe she might stand by him publicly, but behind closed doors, she's holding him accountable for every rumor, every lawsuit, and every skeleton still rattling in his closet. This ain't just about protecting the brand anymore. It's about confronting a past that can destroy the present. Jay-Z's real fear isn't the courts. It's the day Beyonce decides she's done saving his legacy from his own history. He's more worried about that more than anything. I believe if Beyonce was to say, you know what, babe, go ahead and take the test. If it ends up being his, if it ends up being your son, listen, we just gonna wing it out. We still going to fight through this. You know, I'm gonna let you have a relationship with him, whatever. He probably wouldn't be as resisting. Jay-Z is resisting so strongly is because he knows that's just how much against it Beyonce is. It's more so trying to protect Beyonce. Not just that, but also his legacy. Because Ramir's mother was like 15, 16. And let's face it, things from your past, it bites your present. Now, because we have social media, people will use your past against you. It's not like it was back in the day. Whatever you did back in the day, it stayed back in the day. Now, they're going to use it against you. They don't care if it was 30, 40 years ago. You could be in your 80s. If they found out you had a relationship with a 10-year-old, they're going to counsel you with a little 2-3 years you got left on this planet. You can rebrand all day, but the past doesn't erase itself, especially when it involves young girls. And that's the thing, you know. Beyonce was young, Jay-Z was powerful. That's not romance, that's manipulation. And that's basically what their marriage has been built off of. Okay. What other things do we need to discuss, y'all? Please hit the like button. And this is another thing, right? I strongly believe that every time Jay-Z got caught in some type of smoke and Beyonce got a whiff of it, what I believe was he kept doing a speedy recovery. He would pay somebody off, pay hush money, pay a judge to toss it out. He would always quickly eliminate the problem. Okay? Basically, I believe he would do power plays. He would give Beyonce guilt gifts and the illusion of peace bought with billion-dollar hush money. I believe Jay-Z been doing that for years to keep Beyonce at bay. Okay? So, this is the thing about powerful men, right? Even average ones, is they believe money can fix anything. Disrespect your woman, buy her a car. Break her trust, book her a vacation. Get caught cheating, hit her with diamonds, dinners, and distractions. Now scale that up to a billionaire and you have Jay-Z. I believe Jay-Z has spent years keeping Beyonce comfortable enough to tolerate his dirt. Not because she's weak, but because she has always been compensated. Emotionally, financially, even reproductively. Because let's be real, every child they had together wasn't just about family. It was strategy. The more children she had with him, the less she could emotionally resent the ones he had outside of her. And I believe he knew that. And I believe Jay-Z did any and everything he could to make sure he stays in Beyonce's good graces. But here's where it's unraveling. The money can't hide the headlines anymore. The paternity suit isn't going away, not from the looks of it. The rape accusation is in public courts. And the image they spent decades controlling is starting to crumble. Not because of lies, but because of truths that money can't bury anymore. And yes, they're still on stage kissing. I mean, he's on tour with her right now and all of that. They're still showing love in front of the cameras, but that kiss, that's not intimacy. That's image maintenance. That's the kind of kiss you give when your empire is on fire, but the show must go on. You can buy silence, loyalty, even legacy, but you can't buy peace. And when Beyonce is done performing for the public and starts performing for herself, is game over. Y'all, leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about today's content. Do you really think if the heat turns up, Beyonce is going to be a stand by your man? Do you think somehow Jay-Z is going to wiggle his way out of this paternity suit, even though he knows if he goes anywhere near Ray Mir, it's very high risking because it'll look too obvious being that his paternity suit is going on? What do y'all think about this situation? Do y'all think Jay-Z still has that Marcy Projects mindset of I'm going to do what I got to do to get what I want? If I got to knock somebody off, if I got to rid or eliminate my threat, I'm going to do that. Leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think, ladies. Guys, let me know what you think as well. I'm interested to know your opinion on this. And again, everything I say in this video is alleged. Please hit that like button before you exit. And as y'all know, I got more good stuff coming up. Talk to y'all later. Y'all be blessed. And I'll be chopping it up with y'all soon. Alright?